Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and current events from around the world. We've got a packed show for you, with updates on the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. In our top story, tensions continue to escalate as both sides engage in drone strikes and missile attacks. According to reports, at least 9 people have been killed in recent exchanges, with multiple casualties on both sides of the border. Ukrainian forces claim to have hit several Russian oil sites, including a major refinery and chemical plant, while Russia says it has downed numerous Ukrainian drones. The conflict has been ongoing for months, with no clear end in sight. The international community has called for a ceasefire, but so far, neither side seems willing to back down. We'll continue to monitor the situation and bring you updates as more information becomes available. It's worth noting that the conflict has had significant humanitarian implications, with thousands of civilians caught in the crossfire. The United Nations has expressed concern over the growing number of refugees and displaced persons and is working to provide aid to those affected. As we take a closer look at this story, it is clear that the situation is complex and multifaceted. Both sides have legitimate concerns and grievances, but the ongoing violence is only serving to exacerbate the problem. We'll be exploring this topic in more depth throughout the show, with expert analysis and commentary. We'll also be examining the global response to the conflict, including the role of international organizations and world leaders. With the United States, Europe, and other nations all weighing in on the situation, it's clear that this is a global issue with far-reaching implications. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into the latest developments in the Middle East, where tensions between the US and Iran continue to escalate. The situation has taken a turn for the worse, with the US launching a new wave of attacks against Iran after several Gulf states were targeted by incoming fire. The conflict centers around the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway for global oil trade. Iran claims to have closed the strait, but the US military insists that ships are still moving through the area. The latest flare-up has seen multiple projectiles strike Iran's Gulf island of Keshma, with state media reporting significant damage. The US has responded with force, launching over 140 strikes against Iranian targets in the past 24 hours. President Donald Trump has stated that the US hit Iran hard in response to its attacks on shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. The conflict has caused global economic shockwaves, with oil prices rising by over 3.5% as futures trading opened in Tokyo. It's essential to note that both sides have valid concerns and interests in the region. The US is seeking to protect its allies and maintain freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, while Iran is looking to assert its influence and defend its territorial integrity. As the situation continues to unfold, it's crucial to consider the potential consequences of further escalation. The conflict has already had significant economic and humanitarian impacts, and a prolonged war could have far-reaching effects on the region and the world at large. We'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. For now, it's clear that the conflict between the US and Iran is complex and multifaceted, with no easy solutions in sight. Welcome back to Concrete Block. As we wrap up today's show, we're shifting our focus to the Middle East, where tensions continue to escalate. We've been following a developing story involving Israel and its relations with the international community. Ambassador Gilad Erdan, the Israeli ambassador to the United States, recently appeared on Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan, discussing various topics, including the current situation in the region. The conversation touched on the recent violence between Israelis and Palestinians, with Ambassador Erdan emphasizing the need for both sides to condemn any form of violence. He also discussed the upcoming talks in Rome, which aim to address some of the ongoing issues between Israel and Palestine. However, it's worth noting that the ambassador's comments were not without controversy, particularly when discussing certain advocacy groups and their stance on the Israeli government. In another part of the interview, Ambassador Erdan addressed incidents involving a CNN crew and Congressman Ro Khanna, who claimed to have been stopped by Israeli settlers and later detained. The ambassador condemned any violence, but also raised questions about the circumstances surrounding these events, suggesting that they might be more complex than initially reported. As we delve into these complex issues, it's essential to consider multiple perspectives and strive for a balanced understanding. The situation in the Middle East is multifaceted, with deep-rooted historical, political, and emotional aspects. It's crucial for all parties involved to engage in open and honest dialogue, seeking solutions that promote peace, stability, and the well-being of all people in the region. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.